In this video, I'm going to discuss why Bishan Terraces seem to be underperforming in this October 2025 BTO launch. So in my past videos, actually I've already mentioned that Bishan Terraces is one of my favorites. Why? Well, because it has a lot of strong points. So for example, the location is within walking distance to Bishan MRT, and then as you know, Bishan MRT give you a direct connection to the CBD area if you are working there, and then the area is already very mature. There are plenty of shops, malls, etc. And then if you look at the comparable nearby resale price, it's very promising. You can see that in 10 to 15 years, obviously, if you get a 4-room here, you can sell it for over $1 million. During my past review, I even mentioned that it's actually very difficult to find the fault of Bishan Terraces. But then when we look at the result of the application rate, we can see that Bishan Terraces is kind of underperforming versus my expectation. So as you can see here, this is the total supply and demand for all towns combined for all different flat types. And at the moment, there are more people applying for Jurong East and even Bedok versus Bishan, which is shocking because Jurong East is far away, right? And then Bedok, that site is not even close to MRT station. So logically, Bishan's supposed to perform much better than this. So I'm asking myself, what's wrong then? I think there are several factors that made this result happen. I think the first factor is sadly the site plan. So this is the site plan for Bishan Terraces. So if you look at this legend for flat type, there are different colors, right? I want you to focus on this one, where the pink with the yellow surrounding means there's a rental flat from 2nd to 26th story, and then level 27 and above would be a typical 2-room flexi BTO. So if you look at this block 100A, as you can see that this block basically has 8 stacks. The yellow ones are the 4-room type, and then the green one is 3-room, and then this one is 2-room flexi type 1, and then this one, stack 306, is the 2-room flexi type 2, which is mixed between rental units and normal BTO. So again, as the legend has indicated, level up to level 26, it will be rental units, right? And then level 27 and above, it will be a normal BTO. But then you see, because it is sharing the same block, so you can imagine for level 2 until level 26, all of these units here, all of the 4-room flats, 3-room flats, and also the other 2-room, it will be sharing floor with the rental units. Personally, I'm okay with this, and I do agree that all Singaporeans should live with dignity. We need to make sure we remain inclusive. However, having said that, the reality is, in our society, there are still a lot of negative stigma about rental units. If I go online, you know, there are like plenty of negative comments or perception or even anecdotal experience about rental units. And because Bishan Terraces is classified as a prime project with a 10-year MOP, you know, restrictions for future resale buyer, etc., I can imagine why people then become hesitant and having second thoughts about applying to Bishan Town, because this is the situation. So maybe you're thinking, hey, how about the other tower? Well, that's the thing, because this development is quite small. There are only 2 blocks, and both blocks have the same situation. So we were discussing block 100A, right? 100B is also similar. So this is the other block, which is block 100B. You can see that from level 2 up to level 26, all of these units will be sharing floor with rental units at stack 3 to 4. Only level 27 and above will have like pure BTO, but then the lower portion would be like mixed with rental units. I think if you look at this situation, then you can understand why some people are then hesitant to apply for Bishan Town in this time around. So does this mean that people allergic to rental flats? Well, not really, because if you look at the full list for October 2025 BTO launch, actually there are 5 projects that has mixed with rental flats. But the difference is, the other 4 projects like Berlaya Residences, Mount Pleasant Crest, Fernvale Plains, and Chancharu Grove have like dedicated blocks just for rental units. But it's only at Bishan Terraces where the bottom portion is allocated for rental units and then the upper portion is allocated for normal BTO. So this becomes a dilemma. And I actually also did a poll on my channel. I know that the sample size is very small, only 61 votes, but hopefully this can give us like a glance of what Singaporeans are thinking. So I was asking whether the rental unit's existence influenced someone's decision in buying a flat. So 21% of you said that they prefer to pick a project where there's no rental units at all, even if it's on a different block. But then there are 33% of people who responded that they are actually okay with rental units as long as it's not on the same block, which is the problem that this Bishan Terrace currently have. And then 43% said it doesn't matter. Of course, at the end of the day, these are all just opinion and speculation. We cannot read minds, so we don't know why people chose other towns besides Bishan this time around. But I can guess that the reality of a shared stack like that is one of the reasons why people then opted to apply for another town. And then I think another factor that is influencing this result is pricing. So if we look at the two-room flexi price, interestingly, Bishan Terraces is the most expensive in terms of starting price. It even more expensive than Berlaya Residences, Red Hill Peaks, or even Mount Pleasant Crest. I don't know why, but you can imagine that the pricing factor combined with the reality that it will be like shared towers with rental units becomes two factors that is weighing in on applicants' mind, because if the starting price is already very expensive and then in the future down the line it will be more difficult to sell the unit later on if they want to, then you can understand the dilemma that the applicants are facing. For 3-room, Bishan Terraces price is still somewhere in the middle. It's lower than Berlaya Residences and Mount Pleasant Crest. And for 4-room price, Bishan Terraces price is still under Berlaya Residences and Mount Pleasant Crest. So I don't know why the 2-room flexi for Bishan Terraces is like the most expensive among all of the other projects for October 2025 BTO. I know that HDB typically said that the price for BTO is corresponding to the nearby resale price, but then in their own data for the October launch, they don't have any comparable resale price for two-room flexi in the Bishan area. So I find it interesting that they priced it this way for two-room flexi. And I think the third factor that is influencing Bishan Terraces performance is the classification itself, right? So it doesn't come as a surprise that a BTO that is within walking distance to Bishan MRT got a 10-year MOP, right? I think people expecting that. But then the classification combined with the fact that the price is quite high, and also combined with the reality that it will be sharing blocks with rental units, I think that is a deadly combination for this Bishan Terraces project. And I think, like it or not, the next factor that is influencing this result would be the waiting time. So if we look at this table, Bishan Terraces in terms of waiting time is actually somewhere in the middle. It's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest either. But because of this, the waiting time is also not a strong point for Bishan Terraces. It's just somewhere in the middle. So in summary, I think this Bishan Terrace case is a very interesting case study where an almost perfect project then becomes underperforming simply because of one fatal decision. So again, I do understand that the government want to promote inclusivity. I understand and I totally support that all Singaporeans should live with dignity. I completely support that. But at the end of the day, BTO applicants have the freedom to pick whatever town they want, right? They can apply to whichever town that they want. And people will pick with their money. That's the reality. But then again, if you want to look at it from a positive standpoint, for people who apply to Bishan Terraces, less applicants mean that you have a stronger possibility to secure a unit here. So for those of you who applied for Bishan Terraces, let's hope that you get a good queue number. If you want to know more about the application result of this October 2025 BTO launch, or even if you want to know about what projects coming up in February, check out my channel because I have plenty of videos about this on my channel. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!